I hate rewatching shit, especially when you start to ideally piece shit together. Um, I don't know why. Why does it always come back to fucking Rwby? um, because one of the key things that I think back when I was watching Rwby was it was basically like, well, how do you defeat Salem if she's fucking immortal? She just keeps reformatting herself. And then I started rewatching Fate Granddaughter Babylonia. And I realized there's a lot of stuff in Fate in terms of story and pacing, which is basically the same as how Ruby's gone. And now, really hear me out on this, okay? First 3 volumes, you're back at Beacon. Fate Babylonia, they basically show up in Babylonia. And they're in the town, they have to earn Gilgamesh's respect and way to interact with him over those 3 courses. So they go around the city, they're doing missions for good old Gilgamesh. Basically the same thing Team Rwby does in Remnant. They go to Beacon, they have to do missions at the school, and the plot unfurls itself. And eventually we get to the next time mark. Maidens are introduced. And then they go out into the world to face the maidens. This ideally happens in Babylonia as well, because we get introduced to the concept of the 3 goddess alliance. And in order to meet with those set goddesses, they have to go out into the fucking world. Ideally, with one of the goddesses actually coming to Babylonia. And that's how you meet Quetzalcoatl and all that. So essentially, the 3 goddess alliance is basically the maidens, and that becomes a plot. And you also see a thing with the goddesses of I don't know if you want to count it as kind of collecting the goddesses. I don't know if you want to go into that. The main character collects the freaking goddesses the same way that Cinder collects powers as the villain. Which might actually hint at future Rwby that Cinder's the actual fucking hero. I don't know if you want to read into it that much. Yeah, and we actually lose some of the goddesses in the battle. They die, just like some of the maidens die in Rwby. Which leads to the bigger reveal of Salem, who can't fucking die. And surprise, surprise, is that the big bad of Babylonia is Tiamat, one of the goddesses' mother. Ideally, the maidens are the daughters of Salem. Same fucking shit. Exact. And you meet Tiamat, who can't die. And this is where everything gets a bit more interesting. You see, in Fate, they actively go searching for the one person. They find rumors because they're working alongside the Hassans. And through the Hassans, they figure out the one person, along with their main base outside of Babylonia, doing research between them two, they find out that one person who perhaps has the noble phantasm ability of instilling death in somebody. And it's the original Hassan, the first Hassan, King Hassan. His noble phantasm is to put the concept of death into someone. So they intentionally go looking for this prick because, well, we need to put the concept of death into Tiamat. This is also a bit considering something that's very similar that's happened in both shows by now. By the time you get to the end of volume 8 of Rwby, Salem's been nuked. Technically, a bomb friggin' goes off and she gets dismantled to shit. That's basically Tiamat versus Quetzalcoatl in Fate. Her noble phantasm, first one was a nuke, and the second one was her becoming the personification of a comet hitting the planet. That's how badly they tried to kill Tiamat, and it didn't work. Because she, at the time, yeah, she doesn't have the concept of death, so we're just slowing down something that's gonna keep moving. And this is where I think this whole prediction, after seeing these two very similar plots go, is essentially they end up having to go to the underworld as well, because Hassan's dead. So it's essentially going from Babylonia, the living world, to the underworld. Where is Rwby right now? Well, congratulations. There's fucking Remnant, and then there's a whole nother island they're about to land on. So my prediction is, well, there's two ways you can look at this. The ideal prediction is that they're going to find the concept of death on the island. The way, because they're going to say, you know, we fucking blow her up, we kill her, it doesn't do jack shit. We have to put the concept of death into Salem. And they're going to find that on the fucking island, just like Fate did it in the fucking underworld. The reason Fate took it one step further is they had to pull Tiamat into the underworld and do it there, because they pulled her into the underworld, put the concept of death in her, and did some shenanigans, because Gilgamesh is a fucking god tier. I mean, what type of arsehole dies in reality and uses his own holy grail to summon himself back as his future self, who is an arrogant shithead, and finishes off fucking Tiamat. That's where it's fucking amazing, Fate. I love Fate. It's so goddamn bombastic shit, but it's brilliant. Look, you just let that go through your head again. The guy dies and summons his future self, who's more arrogant, to kill the main boss with a divine construct weapon. Fuck me dead. Makes me actually worried for what Rwby might actually do writing wise, because if I am right and they get the concept of death off the island for some whatever reason, the reason I'm against this is that in Fate they actually intentionally go looking for the concept of death and figure out that they have to go to the underworld, and one of the goddesses is related to someone in the underworld, so it all becomes possible. It was all planned out. These people weren't stupid. They intentionally went looking for this shit, and they figured out a way to do it. In Rwby, though, if the concept of death is found at the island, I think it's shit, because they didn't intentionally go there. It was like they were even warned, hey, I'm gonna build these golden portal bridges with portals, go from one end to the other. That was your fucking goal. And he actually tells them, whatever you do, don't fall off the fucking edge. And then the bitches fall off the edge, and if they find the one thing they need to defeat Salem in the one area that they were told not to go, and they did not intentionally fucking go there, then I think the series just created perhaps its dumbest situation. Because essentially, if they end up defeating Salem, it was all based on Cinder knocking them into the fucking void. And that's dumb as shit. I'm sorry to say that. But that's my prediction. Just based on how much of a similarity in story and pacing I saw between Fate Babylonia and what essentially Rwby's doing. It's got the same type of characters, it's got the same type of setting, it's got the same big boss at the friggin' end. And the only thing I'll turn around and say is the action in Babylonia is way fucking better as well. It's better animated, it's better fighting. So yeah, honestly, if you like the basic concept story of Rwby, you'd probably love Fate Grand Order Babylonia.